We start now, 11:02. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Calling the roll for the Monday, November 25th, 2024 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:03 a.m. We have Councilmember Dale Miller,
Present.
Trevor Meckler serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones Jr.,
Here.
Melanie Say serving as an alternate for Mike Dever. Here. Catherine Gallagher serving as an alternate for Chris Renee County Executive.
Here.
Michael Chambers, Fiscal Officer, serving as Chairman.
Here.
Paul Porter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the review and the approval of the minutes from November 18th. I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Melanie Say. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item's approved.
Let the record reflect that Councilmember Meredith Turner is now present.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Let's go to our first item.
First item, new item for review, BC 2024-852, Department of Public Works submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to PSX Incorporated in the total amount not to exceed $352,850 for the purchase and installation of various Amano McCann parking, access, and revenue control equipment at various county parking facilities as listed for items B1 and 2 on the printed agenda, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, everyone. Tom Pavich, Public Works. This is a purchase order with PSX. It's for parking lot equipment and software that'll be used at the 3 new parking lots at 1801 and 2 at Virgil Brown. The procurement process was an RFP exemption. I know there was a pre-council question tying into that. The county operates 7 other parking lots and garages. All of them utilize the Amano McGann hardware as well as the software. And all of them tie back to the HPG parking facility hub, including the software and the controls to it. To maintain that consistency with the equipment, and we're going to go with the PSX through the exemption process. They are the state of Ohio contract holder for, it's not a state contract purchase, but they have the proprietary equipment in the state of Ohio for the Amano McGann. And this did receive TAC approval back in October for the software component.
Thank you, Mr. Pavich. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-853, Department of Public Works submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in award recommendation to APG Office Furnishings in the amount not to exceed $3,595.43 for a joint cooperative purchase, installation, and design services of 2 lateral files, 3 overhead cabinets, and 1 wall mount tack board to an existing workstation at the Cuyahoga County Animal Shelter, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning again, Tom Pavich, Public Works. This is a purchase order with APG. This is for additional furniture for the animal shelter. The procurement's through the Omnia Partners, which is a joint cooperative that's previously been in or negotiated out.
Okay, Tom, thank you. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve it. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor to approve, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-854, Department of Public Works submitting an amendment to a contract with Union Industrial Contractors Incorporated for rehabilitation of Cedar Point Bridge number 00.49 over the Rocky River, located in the Cleveland Metropolitan Park District in the city of North Olmsted, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $315,290.63.
Good morning, Eric Mack, Public Works. This is the 5th amendment for additional funds because they need to repair the existing piers underneath the water. It was determined during construction that we had to do this work, and so they had to create a dam around the piers in order to dewater the site. And now they're patching it up, and they should be done this week. And I know a question came through about when will this be open. It'll be opened by the end of this year. As soon as they finish this patching, they can do some minor roadway work, and it'll be open for public.
Thank you, Eric. Are there questions from the board on this item?
Yes. Is this the most difficult project you've had in the last several years, or just the one that I'm aware of?
This is a very challenging project, and it continues to be a challenge, but we're working through it, and it should be open shortly.
Okay, any additional questions?
Yes, do you have anything else going on that's remotely like this?
We've some challenges, not specifically as this one goes, no.
Sugar Falls? No?
Chagrin Falls is going smoothly.
Oh, well, it's challenging, but yeah.
It's challenging,
Yeah,
but
Okay. Very good.
Okay, thanks for hanging in there.
Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second?
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The item is approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-855, Department of Public Works, on behalf of the Monument Commission, recommending an award on RQ 12847 and submitting a contract with McKay Lodge Conservation Laboratory Incorporated and the amount not to exceed $85,000 for monuments, assessment, and maintenance program services effective upon signatures of all parties for a period of 3 years.
Good morning, Matt Reimer from the Department of Public Works on behalf of the Monuments Commission, recommending an award to McKay Lodge Conservation Lab out of Oberlin as a result of this request for qualifications process that we undertook from the Monuments Commission through the Department of Public Works. They had the clearest and best proposal for these services. With these services and with the award, we'll be assessing all of the over 30 monuments that are in the Monuments Commission's purview, as well as developing a maintenance plan to maintain our monuments and against the interpretive setting that they're supposed to be in as well. So we're really looking forward to having this information and not just go at it on our own. So.
Okay, very good, Matt. Thank you. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-856, Department of Development submitting an amendment to a contract with Kirtland Consulting LLC for consulting services for a 5-year Cuyahoga County Economic Development Plan, 2024 through 2028, for the period July 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2025, to expand the scope of services in accordance with Exhibit A, including but not limited to conducting 3 focus group sessions with mayors and leaders of the 59 municipalities, collect feedback, and define the benefits of the Economic Development Plan for municipalities effective upon signatures of all parties, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $10,000.
Good morning, Christopher Ferroni from the Department of Development. We're requesting an amendment number 1 to a contract with Kirtland Consulting LLC to extend the ending date from 12/31/24 to 6/30/2025 with an additional $10,000 being added to the amount of the contract to assist the County Executive Director of Development in pursuing the updating of the Cuyahoga County 5-year economic development plan.
Thank you, Chris. Are there questions from the board on this item?
Yes, the response you gave to the advanced question suggests that you've seen multiple drafts. It's not final, but you've seen drafts. And my question is, in the latest draft, what are the most significant features in the plan that are different from what's been in the plans that we've currently had?
That is information I'll need to get back to you on through the director. I haven't been appraised of that level of detail of the discussions.
Okay, please let us know.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Chris, if you send it to the clerk, she'll make sure we get it out.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there additional questions? Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-857, Fiscal Office, Department of Consumer Affairs, submitting an amendment to a contract with Nova Eichelstein and Associates Incorporated for support and maintenance on the WinWham software system for the period February 1st, 2022 through January 31st, 2025, to extend the time period to January 31st, 2028, to replace the insurance requirements with new Article 5, Section Amendment, effective upon contract signatures of all parties, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $16,305 in accordance with Schedule A, Second Amendment.
Good morning, Dominique Tatum, Fiscal Department. This is an amendment with Nova. We're doing a 3-year amendment. This contract is used by our Weights and Measure employees. They use it when they do field tests and to store the information.
Thank you, Dominique. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-858, Fiscal Office, on behalf of the Office of Budget and Management, submitting an amendment to a contract with Sherpa Government Solutions LLC for administrative support related to budget projection and forecasting, configuration of reports, and training for the period October 20th, 2023 through December 31st, 2024, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2025, to replace Article 5, Terms of Insurance, with Addendum 2, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $39,850 in accordance with Addendum 1, effective upon signatures of all parties.
Good morning, Dominique Tatum again. This is an amendment to Sherpa. This contract is used in our Department of OBM. They use it pretty much for their projections and budget updates.
Thank you again, Dominique. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McAleer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-859, Fiscal Office submitting an amendment to a contract with CoFile Technologies Incorporated for a cloud-based records management system and support and maintenance services for the Fiscal Department Transfer and Recording Division for the period February 10, 2022 through February 29, 2027, for a partial assignment and assumption of cloud services and the $5 convenience fee per receipt of an electronic recording to GovOS Incorporated effective August 1st, 2023, and add Exhibit A to replace the insurance requirements to those in Section 12 with new insurance requirements. No additional funds required.
Good morning, Dominique Tatum. So this is a agreement that we're doing with CoFile. So currently we have an agreement with CoFile. This is the system that we use in our transfer and recording department where they're able to record deeds online. So currently CoFile would like to assign the convenience fee. It's a $5 convenience fee that's paid by the consumers anytime they record a document electronically. So they're just signing over that $5 to their parent company, which is GovOS.
Thank you, Dominique. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-860, Department of Information Technology submitting an amendment to a contract with Solix Technologies Incorporated for renewal of the Data Lake Repository Tool software subscriptions for the period November 26, 2018 through November 25, 2024, to extend the time period to November 25, 2025, to expand the scope of services in accordance with Schedule A, including but not limited to upgrading the data platform, and to replace Article 5 insurance requirements with updated requirements in accordance with Schedule B, effective upon contract signatures of all parties, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $353,713.
Good morning, Dennis Sullivan, Department of IT. As Cheryl just read into the record, this is an amendment with Solix for the Data Lake Repository software. Two parts to this. Active moving parts are that it is upgrading the standard maintenance net from platform 2.6 to 3.0. And it's also aligning the insurance requirements, updating them to satisfy risk management.
Thank you, Dennis. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-861, Department of Human Resources recommending an award on RQ 14850 and submitting a contract with Clemens Nelson and Associates Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $190,000 for human resources consulting and investigative services for the period November 7, 2024 through March 30th, 2028.
Stephen Witt with Human Resources. This contract is a result of an RFP that was conducted earlier this year. We actually conducted 2 RFPs. The first one, we only had 1 submission, which did not include the pricing structure that we wanted. So we resolicited the RFP and had 2 additional submissions. Clemens Nelson was the highest ranked vendor, providing the best value for the county, the lowest priced. We do pay a monthly retainer, which covers basic HR-related questions, as well as an hourly fee for more in-depth questions, as well as investigations. Currently, to date, they've used Clemens Nelson to complete or assist on 10 investigations so far.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-862, Department of Law submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Safety Holdings Incorporated, Samba Safety, in the amount not to exceed $50,000 for continuous monitoring of employees' motor vehicle records, including driver license status and violations for the period December 1st, 2024 through November 30th, 2025, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Awata Fasad on behalf of the Law Department. I am respectfully submitting an RFP exemption to enter in a contract with Safety Holdings, Samba Safety. And this is a mobility risk management solution. It is part of the county's enterprise risk management and will enhance driver safety across the county and mitigate losses stemming from motor vehicle accidents and reinforce a culture of safety. We will review trends and risks and proactively mitigate potential losses and reduce costs through driver safety training.
Thank you, Watif. Are there questions from the board? Mr. Mackler, please.
Watif, can you talk a little bit about how you plan on doing that? I mean, if you get an alert that someone gets a speeding ticket, what happens?
Well, a speeding ticket in and of itself is, maybe we would just monitor that driver. But we're really looking for those who maybe lose their driver's license or their driver's license are suspended. We will get alerts, we will get emails, and we will address them and collaborate with human resources.
But that's only if someone loses their license? I mean, I just want to, what are we monitoring? Because, I mean, if someone does something on their own time and gets a speeding ticket or rolls through a stop sign, we're looking at that at the county level?
Yeah. So, because, like I said, well, let me back up. The county has used Samba Safety for over a decade or more. The service was offered through other counties' insurance broker. And this program or driver's license reviews were conducted by the Inspector General's office and was handled, like I said, for more than a decade. They deemed this,
just to be clear,
yes.
the Inspector General, I believe, was looking to ensure that someone had a driver's license, correct? Just to make,
That's correct,
not
yes.
the violations or anything like that. That was more to ensure they had an active driver's license?
That is correct. Making sure that there were and that's what we are. We are the main part of this platform is to identify those employees who are driving on a company, who are either driving a county or personal vehicle for county business. We cannot simply rely on employees to self-report if they have an issue with their driver's license. These MVR reviews are part of our enhanced vehicle safety program. We certainly don't want someone driving on county time and without a driver's license or a DUI or something like that. Obviously, if you're right, we are monitoring at all times because that's the nature of it, so it impacts it. If someone is, off working, not working, and they are, driving under the influence and get a citation for that, or their license suspended, we certainly need to know. It does impact the employee, and we don't want that employee on the road operating, a vehicle on county time.
Are there additional questions?
Yes. So what would that process look like? So let's say we have employees that aren't under the influence, but maybe had a couple tickets. Do they get called in and there's a discussion? Is there a criteria, checklist at which some point they would be, they would lose their privileges driving a county vehicle or whatever responsibility they may have had in that vehicle? What's the process and the threshold at what point would they lose their privileges and would that affect their employment status?
Well, I can't speak for human resources. We're here just to track trends and to do like more, general training, drivers safety training. Because I can't speak
So those
for.
decisions are made more by the HR side of the house?
I mean, I don't, the risk management, yes, is not in the position to discipline anyone or.
You just give the reports?
That's right. We would
Okay.
convey that information and we would collaborate with human resources.
Thank you.
Are there any final questions on this item? Seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-863, Court of Common Pleas Corrections Planning Board submitting an amendment to an agreement with Alcohol, Drug, Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County for residential level care services for duly diagnosed men for the period July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025, to change the per diem rate from $57.37 to $63.06 for Medicaid clients effective July 1st, 2024, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $260,000.
Good morning, this is Linda Lagoonzad with the Corrections Planning Board. This Adams Board contract amendment allows for the continuation of residential treatment services for duly diagnosed males who are felony offenders being supervised by the court's adult probation department. Residential care will occur at Catholic Charities Matt Talbot Facility for Men in Parma. And the contract amendment supports treatment that addresses issues related to being duly diagnosed, both mental illnesses and drug and also alcohol dependency, and identifies risky behaviors and reduces incarceration within the male offender population. The length of residence, discharge, and readmission under the contract are subject to team staffing decisions involving Matt Talbot and the court's probation department.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Melanie Say. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-864, Court of Common Pleas Corrections Planning Board submitting an amendment to a contract with Alcohol, Drug, Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County for residential treatment services in connection with the Residential Substance Abuse Treatment Program for the period July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2024, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2025, to change the terms of Section 9, method of payment, and Section 10, liability, to incorporate the additional language requirements in Attachment 1, effective July 1st, 2024, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $490,000.
Hi again, this is Linda Lagoonzad with the Corrections Planning Board. This is a second amendment to the with the Common Pleas Court contract with the Adams Board. And again, as was stated, supporting its residential substance abuse treatment, we call it RSAT, program that provides evidence-based residential level of clinical care services for offenders supervised by the court's adult probation department. And they obviously have substance use disorders. This agreement only supports clinical service delivery. There are 6 panel agencies who will work with the Adult Probation Department to administer service delivery for offenders. There's Matt Talbot for Men, Catholic Charities, Stella Maris, Matt Talbot for Women, Catholic Charities, CATS, UMADOP, and Hitchcock. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you again. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-865, Court of Common Pleas Corrections Planning Board submitting an amendment to a contract with Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board of Cuyahoga County for sober housing services for the Sober Recovery Housing Program for the period July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2024, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2026, to change the per diem rates, to change the terms for submission of monthly invoicing, and to amend Section 9 liability specifically to incorporate the language in Attachment 1 insurance requirements for provider panel agencies effective July 1st, 2024, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $100,000.
Hello again, this is Linda Lagoonzad from the Corrections Planning Board. Again, this is a two-year contract amendment in the amount of $100,000, but it really comes down to about $50,000 per year of the contract. And it provides sober living options for probationers who have completed residential substance treatment programming, or they do not have a safe environment to return to at home, or they have completed an intensive outpatient substance treatment program and immediately have relapsed in their home environment. The Adams Board shall contract with two housing service providers, the Cleveland Treatment Center, CTC, and Stella Maris. This particular program is working with substance use disorder diagnosed individuals, and the length of stay in a sober house is usually doesn't exceed 3 months. So, and in case if they have to stay longer, that is discussed with the staff and those within the court.
Okay, Linda, thank you again. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-866, Court of Common Pleas Corrections Planning Board submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award recommendation to Signature Health Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $158,821 for Group Traumatic Events Protocol, GTEP, services to benefit offenders participating in the high-risk domestic violence court program for the period July 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2027, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Hello again, this is Linda Lagoonzad with the Corrections Planning Board. Again, this is a 3-year contract for services that benefit participants in the high-risk domestic violence court. And the contract is supported 100% by a federal grant from the Federal Office on Violence Against Women. The contract is with Signature Health, who will not only provide the trauma counseling services, but they also will provide a behavioral health supervisor or designee who will participate in the high-risk team meetings. So there's a definite connection a better connection between the work of this particular partner, Adams Board and Signature Health, as well as, Signature Health and the court, as well as the team that are, a part of this program.
Okay, Linda, thank you. Questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item?
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Next item, BC 2024-867, Court of Common Pleas Juvenile Court Division submitting an amendment to a contract with Rising Over Situations Evaluating Self-Mentoring Roses for community-based and social-based mentoring services for court-referred females ages 12 to 17 for the period July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2026, to replace the insurance requirements and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $51,428.
Good morning, Sharon Allen, Juvenile Court. This vendor shall provide community and school-based mentoring service to expose youth to pro-social activities and strengthen positive relationships with adults. This amendment is to extend the contract through June 30th, 2026, increase the funds in the amount of $51,428, and replace the insurance requirements. This contract is funded by the Reclaim Grant and shall not exceed the $82,142.
Okay, Sharon, thank you. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McAleer. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item, please.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2024-868, Court of Common Pleas Juvenile Court Division submitting amendments to agreements with various municipalities for community diversion program services for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2026, to replace the insurance requirements effective January 1st, 2025, and for additional funds in the total amount not to exceed $35,400 as listed for items A through F on the printed agenda.
Marie Andell for Juvenile Court. These are two-year amendments, extending them to 2026 for the Community Diversion Program, which implements effective services with a focus on rehabilitation and accountability versus deterrence-based sanctions. This includes skill-building groups, restorative justice programs, community service, and mentoring, to name a few. These are paid through the Health and Human Services levy. The City of Olmsted Township, the original contract was $1,200, and approval of this amendment will increase it to $3,000. North Royalton, the original contract was $5,700. Approval of this amendment would increase the contract total to $14,700. The Village of Orange, the original contract was $300. Approval of this amendment will increase the total to $2,700. Independence, the original contract was $1,200, and approval of this amendment will increase the contract total to $5,400. City of Lakewood, the original contract was $16,800. The approval of this amendment would increase the contract total to $33,600. In Bentleyville, the original contract was $300. Approval of the amendment would increase the contract total to $1,500.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2024-869, Court of Common Pleas Juvenile Court Division submitting an RFP exemption which will result in an award of a master contract with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $40,000 for trauma-informed treatment services for court-referred youth for the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, as listed for items B1 and 2 on the printed agenda, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Sharon Allen, Juvenile Court. The vendors shall provide an evidence-based informed treatment approach as it pertains to victims of human trafficking. The vendor shall provide individual counseling sessions to youth and engage the family into treatment as well. This contract is funded by a reclaimed grant for a term starting July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2026. Funding for this contract shall not exceed $40,000.
Okay, thank you again, Sharon. Are there questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Next item, BC 2024-870, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with Community of Hope for trauma-informed team mentoring services for young adults ages 18 through 24 who have and/or are aging out of the foster care system in Cuyahoga County for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2025, and to add Exhibit 3A budget effective January 1st, 2025, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $150,000.
Good morning, Marcos Cortez with Health and Human Services on behalf of Children and Family Services. Again, this is a contract amendment with Community of Hope to implement our team mentoring program. The team mentoring program provides groups of volunteers to support young adults ages 18 to 24 who are aging out or have aged out of foster care. The team of volunteers provide wraparound support for youth to assist them to make the transition to self-sufficiency and independence. We are exercising an option year to extend this an additional year. This is our first option year.
Thank you, Marcos. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Mr. McAleer. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Thank you. Next item?
Next item, BC 2024-871, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services recommending an award on RQ 15013 and submitting a purchase with iCore Technology Incorporated and submitting a purchase order with iCore Technology Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $149,800 for the purchase of one Caliber T5 robot with digital COFDM video, parts and accessories, training, and adding an additional 1 year to the standard warranty for the City of Cleveland Division of Police Bomb Squad.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn from Public Safety, and as the clerks read, this is a bomb robot for the Cleveland Bomb Team. This was competitively bid, and we're making a recommendation to award to the lowest cost vendor. Both Ohio EMA, who is the grant funder, and the City of Cleveland have approved the award.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Are there any questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Miss Melanie Say. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on.
First item, exemptions, BC 2024-872, Department of Health and Human Services, Cuyahoga Job and Family Service, recommending an alternative procurement process and exemption from aggregation on various purchase orders, which will result in various award recommendations to the Treasurer, State of Ohio, and the total amount not to exceed $3,512,667.87 for state mandated services rendered to children in connection with the Ohio Department of Health's Complex Medical Health Program for the period January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 3701.023.
Good morning, Ramon Caldas, Health and Human Services on behalf of Cuyahoga Job and Family Services. This request is to reimburse the state for charges related to the Complex Medical Health Program, formerly known as Children with Medical Handicaps. Per Ohio Revised Code, this is a liability we're required to pay back to the state. Approval ensures compliance with state mandates and allows us to continue supporting program services for children with complex medical needs. Approval also gives us a mechanism to pay invoices on a monthly basis. The number before you, that $3.5 million, that's the maximum liability that's calculated by the state, but typically it's between $900,000 and $1.2 million annually.
Thank you, Ramon. Are there questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Moving on.
Moving on to consent agenda items, BC 2024-873 through BC 2024-875.
Just a couple of items, board members. If there's any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, seeing no questions on today's consent agenda items, I will make the motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Turner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The items are approved. Moving on again.
There is no other business?
Any public comment?
No public comment?
I will make the motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?